Cape Town is one of the most sought-after cities on the continent and the place to be for influencers and digital nomads. While they enjoy the high life, locals struggle to afford life in the city.
Cape Town is reserved for the rich. They don't see a place for domestic workers or the working class in that image.
As foreign investment flows in, Cape Townians are grappling with a housing crisis.
They're pushing us out of the city.
But Cape Townians are fed up with the situation and demand action.
Property owners need to decrease their prices so we can afford to stay there.
But why can't Cape Townians afford rent anymore? Today, I want to find out what's behind the housing crisis here in Cape Town and what are possible solutions. So I'm going to be talking to a few Cape Townians and hear what they have to say. Hello. Hi, how are you guys? I'm good, thank you. Do you live here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect people to speak to.
The rent is quite pricey. People do complain and they do often normally end up moving to like Joburg or Durban because of the prices.
For the past 5 years since I've been in Cape Town, like the prices have become ridiculous.
The rental crisis in Cape Town is fucked up because they're pushing us out of the city. Mostly people of color are the ones that are affected by this.
And it's exclusionary. It's actually pushing young professionals out.
You can't really partake in society in the way that you want to.
I'm on my way to meet Indipile, a young tenant who's feeling the pressure. Hi, Indipile.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Welcome.
You?
Nice meeting you too.
Can I see your place?
Yes, of course. You're more than welcome to. Okay, so this is my place. That's my bedroom.
Indipile rents a 2-bedroom apartment in Woodstock, a working-class neighborhood. For 30 square meters, they currently pay 10,000 rand, which is around 500 euros, including water and electricity. But the maths doesn't add up.
I like it.
How much do you actually make, if you don't mind me asking?
Basically, what I have to work with is around 20 or 19,000 rand a month.
So that's almost 50% of your salary goes towards rent.
Yep.
Oh my word. And how does that, is that not stressful? How does that make you feel?
Oh, financial strain is a constant worry. It's always like, okay, once I have my rent paid, what do I do? What can I do? And what do I need to leave for the next month? So it's always a very stressful and just, for me, anxiety-provoking thing. Because I don't know how I'll be able to survive if all my expenses related to rent and housing go over 10,000 rands next year.
With an income of 20,000 rand, which is roughly 1,000 euros, Indipile makes a good salary. But half of that is guzzled up by rent. Indipile is already looking at new places, but there is little on the market that fits the budget. Due to its proximity to the city centre, Woodstock has experienced the sharpest rent hikes in Cape Town. The crisis is real. Cape Townians like Indipile pay the highest rent in South Africa, while salaries have stagnated. Even if you have a job, it doesn't mean that you can afford rent in the city. But why is rent increasing so drastically?
Development owners are looking into more foreign interest because a lot of people, when they come here, they trade with like dollars and euros. So they're trying to please that market.
Developers, they much more prioritize that because obviously it's more money in their pocket.
Obviously, Airbnb is the main factor, the reason why we're here. But even before that, before Airbnb, we were having issues with the housing crisis.
Because of gentrification, because of digital nomads, and because of Airbnb.
Is this annoying? Is this annoying? Is this annoying?
Is this annoying? Is this annoying? Is this annoying?
People are really frustrated with the whole housing situation in Cape Town, the Airbnbs, digital nomads. But I'm also wondering what kind of impact this has. I'm meeting with Christina Masurek. She manages short-term rental properties such as this beach house here in Kommetjie, south of Cape Town.
Sure.
Christina makes a living with Airbnb, but she doesn't shy away from an honest conversation.
People feel that Airbnb is part of the problem in the housing challenge in Cape Town and rental hikes. What do you think of that?
I believe there's a housing crisis in Cape Town and Western Cape as a whole. I believe that the issue, if we look at the numbers, is very minimally related to short-term rentals. That makes up less than 1% of the available housing supply. The population has grown by 30% in the Western Cape since 2011. Now, you have to increase the supply to accommodate for all of that. You also have to look at the economy and what our greatest contributors are so that we continue to create good jobs for all of the people that want to live here. But we also know short-term rentals contributes to 10% of the economy, and we have this huge unemployment rate. Would the person who hears all of those facts and data still say that the problem and the cause, rather, of the problem with the housing crisis in the Western Cape is that related to Airbnb? You would be shooting yourself in the foot to believe that, because taking it away would make things worse.
Christina made an important point. Tourism is crucial for Cape Town's economy. Retail, transport, hospitality all profit from visitors. And truth is, short-term rentals attribute to only 1 to 1.5% of the overall housing stock. Looking at specific neighborhoods, though, the impact is massive. In the inner city, the commercial business district, CBD, short-term rentals make up 70%. And here in Sea Point, short-term rentals still make up 27% of the housing stock. Airbnb listings have increased drastically, and it doesn't seem to stop.
So I have a lot of questions, and I'm going to speak to an expert now. Hi, Dr. Nontokozo. It's so nice to meet you and also have a conversation with you. What is behind the housing crisis here in Cape Town?
We're not building enough affordable rental housing and putting that on and out into the market at sufficient quantities. You know, it's a historical crisis. It's one of the legacies that we have from the apartheid regime, which was deliberately not building, affordable rental housing or just affordable housing in general to accommodate, the Black and colored population in particular. Then we're seeing that also over time has been natural population growth and increase within Cape Town. And then that has also, of course, naturally then increased the demand for housing.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
So, supply and demand is a big issue. There already is a massive backlog of affordable housing. And on top of that, Cape Town's population is growing steadily because both South Africans and foreigners are flocking to the city. This puts pressure on the already low housing stock and drives up rent. All these developments that are currently going up in the inner city, these are either hotels or high-priced short-term rental units. The interesting thing, as of yet, developers don't have to include affordable units for low-income households in their buildings, even though there is such a great need for that.
So I'm on my way to see a representative of the city to hear what they are doing about it. Hi, Councillor. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. On inclusionary housing, we are looking to go to the public within the next year, but we are quite insistent on making sure that the inclusionary housing section of our affordable housing policy is meaningful in working with the sector to yield the best results. We will not be taking a punitive approach because we won't be driving out investment in our city. There's multiple examples globally, particularly in the States, when we look at Detroit, when we look at Portland, Portland, Maine, where a punitive, hard approach has actually driven our development. And so we need to find and marry this reality in Cape Town of attracting investment while lifting up our residents in access to opportunity. And so I'm committed to making sure we do that.
Thank you. And I really do hope that the people of Cape Town can experience the city differently and feel like, you know, they've got access to housing.
I think our next engagement is to be on one of our affordable housing developments.
A lot of people here in Cape Town really want the inclusionary housing policy. But what I'm taking away from the conversation with the representative of the city is that it's not a silver bullet for them because they're worried about chasing investors away. Then you ask yourself, what is more important, the investors or the locals?
The government bulldozed our houses down here. We were evicted from this place.
After consistent pressure from housing activists, the city has earmarked locations for affordable housing in the inner city. But so far, not a single brick has been laid down.
It's like with solution, property owners need to decrease their prices so we can afford to stay there because we still need to be affording living situations and existing.
Airbnb needs to go. Like, it needs to take a break. They need to prioritize all locals having decent accommodation. Start with the people in District 6 who were forcibly removed. Get them houses, and not just any houses. The same houses that have dignity before they were removed with their families.
Well, the long-term solution is increasing supply of accommodation, affordable accommodation, either through investment of the private sector or subsidized by the city.
Changing of the rate. Maybe like dropping the prices a little bit. We know the economy is like crazy now.
There's a group of young Cape Townians that demands a solution for the housing crisis. Rent Control Group advocates for fair rent in Cape Town. Indipile is also part of the group, fighting for their right to affordable rent in the inner city.
So locals are literally being bought out of their neighborhoods, and these super owners don't have to follow any regulations.
Founded in 2024, the social movement hosts events and workshops.
The success of the city doesn't belong to the people of the city.
So what we can afford. I can't afford to live in the city.
How are you doing? Nice to meet you all. What is Rent Control all about? Rent Control Group?
Just Rent Control as an organization is trying to target the middle class who often feels like they're not affected by the issues of housing because it might still be possible for them to live where they are. But we all know that we're all just one paycheck away from not being able to do so.
What do you aim to do or achieve?
We have three main goals. It's to regulate rent in the city of Cape Town, to regulate Airbnb, and to encourage the growth and formation of tenants unions in the city as well. You have working class and middle class people that used to afford to stay in the city center, and now because the rental supply stock in the city center is taken up by short-term rentals, then they have to move out to the near peripheries. And those near peripheries are working class areas that are occupied by black communities historically. And then they get pushed out because they can't compete with essentially a different economic class of people.
So increasing rent is an issue globally, but what makes it different in Cape Town?
What's different in Cape Town is that this forms part of a broader history of dispossession, and where the housing stock is really defined by this history of people being moved out of the city, of the Group Areas Act moving people out of the city.
And so we really do need to build a stronger middle class of young people who see and know about the struggles from before apartheid and during apartheid and now, and can also foresee how it might look for the rest of us as the future continues if nothing does change.
For Megan Bobotyana, the struggle for affordable housing takes on a different form. She lives in an occupied building only meters away from Cape Town's swanky waterfront, a former nurse's home that was evicted and left unoccupied for years.
So here's a building that could have housed people just sitting there for 10 years without being occupied. So as part of a campaign to irritate and just to nudge at the government to say, hey, we also need affordable accommodation within the CBD, we decided to move into this building. So now it's become a home.
Do you mind showing me your home then?
Sure.
The occupation is organized by Reclaim the City, a prominent social justice movement that fights against evictions and for affordable housing in well-located areas. Megan is one of 700 people living here.
It's going to be very dark. So this is my home.
So is there no electricity here?
Not at all.
What do you mean?
There hasn't been electricity since we got here. So 2 weeks after they realized that we were inside the building, they then cut off the electricity.
But wait, wasn't that like years ago?
2017 to be exact.
So you haven't had electricity since 2017. So how do you do everything? How do you survive? I don't understand. Like, how do you do the basic stuff?
The great thing about being the Abantu people is that we are used to not having electricity. So mainly it's gas stoves. We use chargeable lights to light candles for those that don't have chargeable lights. And yeah.
Megan shares the flat with a 12-year-old son. She grew up in Sea Point and wants to stay here close to her work as a customer service specialist.
Can I turn my light on?
Yes, please. Okay. So this is just my simple kitchen. So that is my stove and where I cook. And that's my gas tank, which we use.
So do you guys pay rent if you live here?
No.
How does it work?
So because this building is owned by Public Works, so nobody has the right to ask for money for a place here. So we don't pay rent. But what we do as the community is we organize amongst ourselves. So we basically fundraise to keep the building maintained.
And how safe is it?
So because of the fact that there is no electricity, I'll be very honest with you, at the beginning it was really not safe. So what the community decided to do is to install solar lights in the passages just so that we can see each other and you know who's coming in front of you, etc. There was a murder here as well, which is still unsolved on the 3rd floor. One of our activists, Anya, passed away in this building, killed in his own house, and we still don't know who killed Anya. So at the beginning it was very hard. I mean, you had to have like nerves of steel to stay in this place. But as the years go by, I mean, we're building a community. People know each other. We have a WhatsApp group for the whole community. So if anything does happen, all you do is pop a message in that WhatsApp group, or you call somebody that's close to you, and the leaders come together, and so does the community.
And like, how's the adjustment for you?
You choose the devil that you want. And this for me was the easier devil. There's the discomfort of now versus what we're fighting for. This was worth it for me. So to say to the city, you know, we will stay under any conditions provided that you meet us halfway, you know, and we will still stay here as long as the government feels like they don't need to answer us. We will stay in this discomfort. It is a huge contrast. It is, but somebody has to sacrifice in order for a better tomorrow. And this is the sacrifice that we're willing to put.
Just to be able to access work and access the city.
Indeed.
Sure. Hectic.
One thing is clear. Cape Town is growing fast. It needs more affordable housing, not just far away, but in well-located areas, to address the legacy of forced removals during apartheid, as well as the current housing crisis. Affordable housing in well-located areas requires political will so that Cape Town can be a place for all people and not just a city for the rich. South Africa,